welcome back to Right at the Wire. Well, as part of our Breeders' Cup prospect reports, we're going to take a look at the mile divisions, dirt and turf, and see what we have leading up to the Breeders' Cup. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so we're going to look at the turf mile and dirt mile divisions of the Breeders' Cup, and let's see what the prospects look like. So first, we're going to take a look at the turf mile division, and shouldn't be too much of a surprise. It is dominated by foreigners, in particular. The top, the European turf, let's face it, they're just better than we are right now. So, number one, we've got Paddington. He is a 3-year-old. That's the only thing I will say is that he is a 3-year-old, so there is still room for growth, and that's pretty a scary thought. He's been pretty impressive at Ascot. It was him and Caldine was the big rivalry going in, and he just put that to rest. And he definitely is the top Euro miler right now, and I think that he's the top in the division. Followed secondly by Inspiral, who's a pretty cool horse. She had a really long layoff going into Ascot, and it wasn't for certain that she was going to run back to form, but she did. I believe she got second behind Triple Time in the Queen Anne, but then followed it up in France with the Prix de Jacques Le Marois. Hope I pronounced that right, and was pretty darn impressive and repelled Triple Time and a pretty good field Big Rock as well, and has got a really nice kick, and she looks awful good coming in. And of course, always the question with all the Euros and the foreigners are they going to come over? But if either one or both of them come over, basically it's who's playing for third, I think. Songline is the Japanese import, and I just watched his last race, and the name escapes me, but he was in an 18-horse field, I believe, and rated mid-pack and displayed a really nice kick in the stretch to get up. The Japanese have been dominating internationally, so the Songline, I think, is one we definitely have to take seriously if he comes over. The trainer, again, Yamasa, I believe his name is, or Yamato. Or Hamato. He normally doesn't bring them unless he thinks they can win. So if Songline comes over, pay attention because this one I think is a pretty darn good miler. Triple Time, as we mentioned, is another one that was coming off an injury and has rebounded pretty well. Won the Queen Anne, the first race at Royal Ascot, at like 30 plus to 1, and was a pretty impressive effort. Has followed it up, hanging in there pretty well. It was kind of funny watching in the Jacques de la Marois when he lost to Inspiral. It seemed like the jockey had a whole lot of trouble with his reins, trying to stretch, let him out so that the Triple Time could get going. And maybe he could have done a little better than third, I believe is what he got. But Triple Time is a pretty good horse and certainly one of the better milers in Europe. So if he comes over, one we want to pay attention to for sure. Carl Spackler has demonstrated a hell of a lot of ability once he finally got a post that was agreeable to him. The Hall of Fame in the Saranac at Saratoga, the Saranac in particular, he just really uncoiled a huge kick, got a ton of upside. It is the only question is, of course, he is a 3-year-old. He will be going against older, but he looks awful good. And of course, Casa Creed really needs no introduction. He's just been a hard knocker for years, and I think is one we have to absolutely take seriously. Don't know that he's got enough to win, but I think he's one that we certainly have to pay attention to. And then Du Jour, and again, going to have the home court advantage being at Santa Anita. And this one in the Del Mar Mile displayed a really nice kick. It was a very impressive race. It was again, it's out west, so I don't know how good those turf horses are, but he looks pretty loaded for bear. Bob Baffert Not known for turf, but this one looks pretty good and is coming into the Breeders' Cup, I think, in great form. So maybe he'll get another prep and we'll see. Chez Pierre did beat Modern Games in the Maker's Mark Mile and was ultra impressive in doing so, but did not follow it up very well in the following start. And I apologize, the name escapes me of the race, but was a heavy favorite and ran kind of a dull third. So you have to wonder if that big effort in the Maker's Mark was kind of a freak show, and that maybe and when they bounce or regress off of that, I'm not sure that this one can get back to that type of level again readily. However, Chez Pierre I think has talent and definitely one we want to consider. Let's see if he gets one more prep before the Breeders' Cup. And I think then we'll know for sure what we've got. Exalted, since he's moved to turf, has been pretty darn impressive. Won the Shoemaker Mile, Grade 1 out west, and another one that's going to have the home field advantage at Santa Anita. Followed that up with a pretty good second in the Del Mar Mile, though. Really didn't have any excuses. Was raiding along the rail and saved all kinds of ground, and still couldn't get up in time. So you got to wonder maybe about the class level a little bit, but again, being on the home turf, that may elevate Exalted a little bit. And Peter Yurtons just lights out this year, so definitely one we want to think about. And then finally, we've got Luca from Chile, and I'm gonna guess this one's coming over. Did watch his the race that got him into the Breeders' Cup, and it was on a it was on a right-handed track, and it was a huge field, and he. He just got up to win the race, saved a lot of ground on the inside, and had a pretty good trip. Jockey gave him a nice ride, but he did just get up, so there wasn't like it was a decisive win. And of course, we always have to question the class level of the horses in South America moving up here. Sometimes they're great, like Invasor, and sometimes they're O'Connor. So who we think is going to be good and then doesn't pan out. So anyway, I think it's a really nice and competitive division, and it's dominated by the Euros for sure. But Songline as another import, I think, is one that could be a sleeper and we want to pay attention to. So, excuse me. So now let's take a look at the Dirt Mile division. Cody's Wish on top, no surprise there. The Whitney didn't really pan out for him at a mile and an eighth, but at a mile, there's nobody better in America right now. This will be a two-turn mile at Santa Anita, but as he proved at Keeneland last year, that isn't a problem for him. And I just think he's the best. He's the best dirt miler without question, and he's going to be hard to beat. Arabian Lion has been a different horse since Bob Baffert took over again. He showed a lot more grit, and he's got a world of ability, and we'll just have to see how he does in the preps leading up to the Breeders' Cup. But right now, I think the mile is a perfect distance for him, and I think he would give Cody's Wish all he can handle. So Arabian Lion, I think, number 2. Repo Rocks, number 3. This one, you can say what you want, but he's performed on the track. I know that it's kind of questionable with Rob Atras and some of his methods earlier in the year. We wondered about that, but he has performed pretty well. Not sure he's a grade 1 horse, but he does have some talent, and he's been competitive. So I think he belongs in this division, and he's one of the ones that you're going to have to worry about. Spirit of McKenna is an up-and-comer, and this one won the Triple Bend pretty easily. And in his last race, the name of the stakes escapes me. I believe it was the Bing Crosby. He was not quite up to snuff, but I think this one has a world of talent, and particularly being on home court at Santa Anita is definitely going to be to this one's liking, so one we definitely want to keep our eye on. Fort Bragg, kind of the same as Arabian Lion since Bob Baffert's taken over again. This one's been running a lot better. Seems to have shaken off the quirks that were preventing him from doing well earlier in his career. He's had some memorable duels this year, and I think that that's going to give him some bottom going into a race like the Met in the Dirt Mile, which should be pretty contentious. So I think Fort Bragg maybe has to move up a little bit speed wise, but I think is definitely one to worry about. Verifying is I don't know that he's one you can really figure out what to do with. He's not quite a two-turn horse. He's not quite a sprinter. So this kind of meets him between the eyes. I wonder about this one's will to win more than anything else. He seems very content to just kind of run around the track sometimes, but he definitely has some talent, and I think that if he does run in this race, he's one that you have to consider. Endorsed has been a hard knocker for years, the ultimate underachiever, but much like Proxy this year, he seems to have got it together. The Pegasus, he demonstrated that he can win at a mile, and I think that he's one that probably not. One on the you could consider a top favorite for this for the dirt mile, but I think one that you have to consider is it's a good distance for him. Mike Maker tends to think he's more 7 furlongs, but I think he can get a mile, and more than likely this will be where he lands if he gets in. Drew's Gold. I don't think they want to run him in the sprint. I'm not so sure. Recently, his form has not been great. And Elite Power or Gunite maybe got the edge on him. So I think he can get a dirt mile. I'm not sure about it around 2 turns. That's my big question with Drew's Gold. But this one showed a lot of ability early. He just got run too much. And I think if they can give him a break and maybe get one more prep in him, I think he has a chance in this race. But he definitely needs to reverse the form he's shown of late. CZ Rocket, another one who's going to have the home court advantage at Santa Anita. Hard knocker, been around a long time. You can never really count out coming from behind in a race like this. And he's going to have some company with Cody's Wish at the back, but you always have to give a horse like this a puncher's chance. And you can say much the same for One in Vermilion. Won the Jerkins under tragic circumstances, sadly, but was coming from behind and definitely had something in the tank, and perhaps at a mile can offer the same. We'll be back on the home court at Santa Anita. I consider this one to be a cut below, probably more like a grade 3 type of horse in the handicap division, probably next year. But anyway, we'll be on the home court, and maybe that elevates a little bit and gives a chance. So that's a look at the mile divisions. I think you'd agree with me that the turf mile division looks a hell of a lot more competitive. It is dominated by the Europeans, and we'll just have to see how many of them actually come over. But I think that's a dynamite field and looks to be an extremely competitive race. If we get Paddington in Spiral or both, then I think it's a really great race, and I'd be looking forward to seeing that one. Dirt mile division, it looks like Cody's Wish and everybody else, to be honest. I think Arabian Lion, of all of them, maybe has a chance to be to elevate to a grade 1 level, a Cody's Wish type of level. But right now, it's pretty much just Cody Wish, and that's it. However, it is at Santa Anita, so those California horses having the home field advantage. We've maybe got to elevate them a little bit, so it might make it a more competitive race than it perhaps looks on paper right now. We'll continue with our evaluation of the divisions of the Breeders' Cup, and so be on the lookout for those, and we'll continue with our Weekend Warrior postings and any other ones, special ones that become necessary. We will definitely tackle them and take a look at. So you'll have a lot of content from us, and if you do like it, please like and subscribe. It does help to keep us going. We appreciate, as always, all of you who lend your support. And thanks for all the great comments. Always appreciate that as well. So that's it for today. Be talking to you soon. And until then, be well.